I've been very vocal about my opinions on the Cars sequels, specifically how they completely disregarded any of the themes and events from Cars 1, the only good Cars movie. I've even gone on record as saying Cars 2 is my least favorite movie of all time, but I think saying that undermines something that means a lot more to me with regards to this franchise. It's something I've intentionally been keeping quiet about, but something that needs to be said. Cars 2 is not the worst piece of Cars media. That, my friends, is crowned to episode 9 of Disney Plus's Pixar popcorn shorts. Get ready for the title, Dancing with the Cars. Now, I knew from the get-go last year that this short film was going to be awful, but I think I speak for the entire Cars fandom when I say I was not expecting something so blatantly faithless to the franchise and something that leaves us with absolutely nothing in value. Starting with the very beginning, we can already tell just how disconnected from reality and the beloved franchise this short film is going to be when we see Luxo Jr. pop the popcorn by bouncing on the eye. There is not a microwave, stove, or any heat source in sight popping these kernels. It is simply the works of this delusional and unapologetically incorrect view of physics that allow for these kernels to be popped. It is madness. Not to mention how shameless the logo is for not even trying to follow the basic animation process of the Luxo Jr. logo. Luxo walks from the right side of the screen to the left, bounces on the eye until it's squashed, and then looks forward. This stupid logo begins with the eye being bounced on. It's like they didn't even try to look back at how their logo is supposed to function. A couple seconds later, we are introduced to the title card of the short, Dancing with the Cars, an obvious nod to the ABC TV series about competitive dancing, Dancing with the Stars. So you would think that they would copy the logo of Dancing with the Stars to play into that nod, but nope. Instead, we get this 60 Styles drive-in logo, and the cars aren't even at a drive-in theater. This barely even scratches the surface of the thematic inconsistencies in the short film, or the franchise inconsistencies, which I'm going to get to right now. In the opening scene, we see characters that we're familiar with, like Flo, Ramon, McQueen, Sally, and these yellow pit stop cars. Who are they? Why are they in Radiator Springs? I can only assume that they are the pit crew of this car from Cars 1, but like, why did they use this specific pit crew, let alone any pit crew to begin with? Like, did anyone making this short film even watch the original film? Slider Petrolsky is so unimportant to the movie that I bet no one watching this video even knew that that was his name. And I know that they didn't watch the first movie beforehand, because leading into my next point, listen to the hydraulic sound of Ramon's body. As you can hear, it is so much more exaggerated and different sounding than it is anywhere in the original movie. I can only assume that they didn't use the original sound because it was too expensive to get that Foley sound again. And this isn't the only instance of cutting costs for this cheap, under-budgeted short film. I kid you not, none of the characters even talk in a desperate attempt to not hire the expensive voice cast again. Not only is this blatantly cheap and low of a company like Disney to do, but it allows for no character development to happen. Like, honestly, what even is the point of making this if they aren't even gonna try? Why couldn't they have just saved the money for a feature film, or heck, even a Cars 4? I just don't see the point of this radiating garbage to exist. It's not like the story holds anything special. The bulk of the story is that the cars are dancing. Oh, and every time Mater bumps into the jukebox, a new song plays, because that's realistic. Totally. Like, at least in that one well-known part in Cars 1 when Red hit the radio and turned on Life Could Be a Dream, he was hitting a button on the radio. Mater is just bumping into the jukebox, which I guess is enough to completely swap the record inside of there. Does Disney even know how jukeboxes work? It's almost like they said, hey, remember what we did in Cars 1? What if we did that again, but for the entire short, without even realizing how different of technology a jukebox and a radio are? And it's not like they watched the rest of the movie to realize how inaccurate their depiction of Ramon's hydraulics, the Luxo Jr. logo, and the importance of the yellow pit crew cars are. I can't do this. But what's even more infuriating is that when Luigi and Guido do their little dance and when Guido accidentally kills Luigi, the music playing from the jukebox dramatically stops. Give it a listen. Like, how can you even explain that? Disney is clearly putting dramatic effect over reality. Is that the kind of lesson you want to teach to kids? That reality is unimportant and a dramatized, fantastical version of life matters more? I'm so appalled that Disney thought that this was a mentally healthy portrayal of how to live your life enough to put this into the canon of this multi-billion-dollar franchise. When we go on to the dances of these cars, we see Fillmore dance, and it becomes very, very clear why we didn't see these cars dance in the movies. Cars can't dance. Stop trying to shove shove this false narrative down our throats that they can move their vehicular bodies in motions that slightly resemble dance moves. They can't. It's a fact. It's a fact that doesn't care about your feelings. It's a fact that becomes even more evident once you see the cars attempt to do a conga line. You know, the thing where everyone makes a train by holding onto each other's shoulders, but cars don't have shoulders or hands, which is exactly why they don't dance in Cars 1. I talked in detail about how the Cars universe is justified in my Cars 1 video I did a year back, and I explained how it was justified because the cars are doing car things such as driving. I've said this like 20 times already in this video, and I'll say it again, cars don't dance. What the hell were these Pixar executives smoking when they wrote this in the scripts? Did they think that this was just a natural thing that happens in the world? It's like they never even walked outside in their lives, because if they did, they would see a road filled with cars driving, not dancing. But I think the icing on the cake for this short film is the post-credit scene when Liz hits the jukebox to dance to an upbeat song. Now, this is supposed to be funny because Liz is an old car and she's vibing out to music that isn't from her time, but it completely falls apart due to the song choice. It's so lame. Like, imagine if they played a rap song, or if they played some garbage dubstep, or heck, what probably would have been the funniest is if they just played some hyperpop. But no, instead they settled for this incredibly bland music that probably cost them little to nothing to get the rights to. Yet another instance of cost cutting from this multi-billion-dollar company. I think I've shown you undeniably in this video that Dancing with the Cars is not only a cost-cutting worthless short film, not only is it completely unrealistic and inconsistent with its basic concept, but is an abandonment from the franchise that it is a part of and almost ruins everything that came before it for me. I can't even watch my childhood favorite movie Cars 1 anymore without knowing that this pile of manure exists in the same universe, which is why I'm starting a petition to remove this short film from the Cars canon. Link below.